Okay, this is going to be a video on creating grids for us for making our Studio 3, right? So we'll need a new document and we're just simply using a letter document. And I have preview selected so you can see what's happening here. There's a few ways we can make these. First of all, I don't want it to have facing pages. Second of all, so you'll notice usually by default the page comes with some kind of a margin, right? So we will talk about grids and the margin here. And that's space between the grid and the edge of the frame, right? But now our grid needs to have columns. Right now it has basically one giant column in the middle. But we can change the columns right here. Let's make a 5-column grid. Whoops, 5 columns. And we can make choices about the gutter width. Do we want it to be a little bigger? Do we want it to be a little tighter, right? That's the question. Also these margins, right, we don't have to leave them at the default. For our resume, likely you'll have equal margins all over your page, but we can break this up and say we're designing a book or something, right? We might, I'm going to really jam that in, right? We might add more margin on one side or something, right? Again, it's about not completely using defaults or knowing that you can override these defaults, right? So I'm actually going to get rid of this margin, put everything kind of back to how it was, just so I can open up it like you might just quickly open it. We can basically do that same exact thing if we go to layout, margins and columns, and you'll see here the exact same thing, right, that I just did. Here I am playing with the margins and changing the gutter, and I can unlink these and change my left one the way I did, right? We can do it that way. I'm going to hit cancel though. A third way we can do this is to use rulers. I suggest doing it the other way, but what I like about rulers is that we can do rows as well. So let's go to layout, create guides, and here, right, and make sure you have preview checked in all of these so that you can see what's happening, right? I can say, let me have 5 columns, and you know what? Let me have 5 rows, right? And I've made this nice modular grid. Now, one other option that you have, right, is now you would set the margins in that last thing that we were just at, or right when you started your page. But say you wanted that grid to only be inside those margins, right? You can fit the guides to the margins, so you see like how it changes, right? So these are the ways that we can create grids to give us structure to our documents in InDesign. These are all non-printing elements. You won't print these. These are simply for your own use while you're designing a layout.